sir. Yes, sir. Gritty and Wylie show. You already know what it is, man.
Hottest in the city, yes, Wylie and it's gritty. If you wanna know about the work, tapping with me.
Yeah, you see I got the shades on. You see I'm with my guy Cam.
Yes, sir.
You see what hey, you know what it is. It's the Gritty and Wylie show. Gritty is not here. He's out there in Memphis, balling out, with the New Balance team and everything like that. I got these shades on because your boy dropped yesterday. You're a jerk, Wylie. Your brother been saying there's no skill.
Yeah, he said there's no skills. I gotta hear what's to it.
You know what I'm saying? And your brother, he makes some hard music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if a music connoisseur is saying that the music is heat,
It must be.
I think the people gotta believe him. You're a jerk, Wylie, WHY space LIE, 3 exclamation points. Look it up. It'll be a description. It's on all platforms. So I know y'all be like, oh, I don't got Apple Music. It's on Spotify. I don't got Spotify. It's on Deezer. I don't got that. It's on my mixtape. Whatever you need it on, it's on all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a little hyped today. Plus, I don't know if y'all boys knew, and I wish Pat and Gritty was here, but it's actually a year since we first did our first show, man. Clap it up, man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot. As you guys have seen, the scenery has changed. The clips have changed. We met 300 something subscribers in a year. So I feel like within a year, we've done a lot of work. You know what I'm saying? But there's still more work to go. We still bringing on fire guests, as you can see. You know what I'm saying? We're still changing up the locale. We're back at home turf. We was at the farm last episode, but we back and we better than ever. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the fam. Shout out Coach B. Shout out Pat. Shout out Q. You know what I'm saying? And man, you know what I'm saying? These playoffs been going crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all have been watching, but if you haven't been, y'all need to make sure y'all tapped in with that Don P Easy TV. You know what I'm saying? 1,000,001 channels. You know what I'm saying? The service is A1. If it goes down, Spectrum, if it goes down, you got to wait till the next day. You got to restart the router, get up, all this other stuff. Don P is just one call. Really just a click. You know what I'm saying?
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, as we say. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if you're not watching, you need to tune in. But first, I want to shout out, you know what I'm saying, say my prayers up to Elijah Arenas. He got into that accident. They said it was smoke inhalation that caused him to go into that coma. I'm like, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I'm like, you have Bronny James have a heart attack at USC. Mm-hmm. Now you got Elijah Arenas have induced coma at USC. What's going on with these USC recruits? Is it USC? Is something in the water?
I heard something like this. A cyber truck blew up.
Yeah, but hey, I was talking about the cyber truck last time. Y'all was there. Oh, it was this. It was that. Look, I know Elon is on the clock right now. It's a lot of people not liking him. So at the end of the day, prayers up to him. You know what I'm saying? It's a serious thing. They say he is out of his coma. He's recovering well. So prayers for his recovery and everything like that. But speaking of, young players and things like that, AAU has been popping, you know what I'm saying? We was at Source Hoops last weekend. Noah was out there. We had the younger team. I was coaching them, and then I was coaching the 16s and everything like that. But it's a lot of good talent out there. We seen our boy Landon out there playing with the Rebels. Shout out Landon. We seen a couple other guys playing pretty well to high level. RJ Evans was out there. There's a couple other guys. But it was like their first time seeing some high level talent, some high level guys and things like that. And I think that's the thing. It's like, you got to give these kids in the area a chance to see what the high level talent looks like. Because sometimes these kids think that they're the top in their class or the top in the county or whatever the case is. But the kids in the county don't represent all the kids in the area. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to show them what, real smoke looks like. And we not ducking smoke. And we didn't do too bad. You know what I'm saying? We had one game in our 16s, man. It's 24-26. We get the steal. The tie game. That's why you got to work on your fundamentals, Cam. Tie game. Right hand layup. Smokes it. We get the rebound again. We go back up. Smoke it. Game over. So, you know, it was a rough day. That was probably the closest game we had, you know what I'm saying? We had a couple other blowouts that we lost, but, you know, we still working, you know. A lot of these other teams have been more established and been together for a little bit longer, so I can't really blame us too much. But guys got to get the practice.
Yeah, you got to finish, though.
Yeah, you got to finish. You got to get the practice. You got to get the work in, you know. You got to do the reps, you know what I'm saying, so we can know all the things that we need to do. You got to know the plays, everything that we need, you know what I'm saying. But at the end of the day, AAU is popping. It's early. So I can't, you know, I try to tell parents this all the time. Like, you're going to be frustrated, but you got to be on the roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to, you know, the highs, be with the team, and the lows, be with the team, and just try to ride that, get that rhythm. Yeah, stay committed. Because I think it's real hard to stay committed, especially as a person who is coming into an arena that, you know, you might not have seen in a while. Like, for example, they have their kids playing basketball and they've never played at that level. You know what I'm saying? It's a little tough as, you know, supporters of basketball, especially when it's a situation where your kid might not be playing as much, or your kid might be going through rotational changes, or, you know, you might be seeing the league go up, the league go down, all these other different types of things. It's tough, you know what I'm saying? But it's all about the development of the kid. I think that's the thing at the end of the day. AAU can be about so many different things, but our team is so focused and solely focused on developing your kid and allowing them to be the best version of themselves, and us not hindering them from that process and things like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Coach B, like I said, is out in Memphis. Them boys is playing real smoke, you know what I'm saying? At the P32 circuit, you know, they've been going crazy. You know, Caleb's been going crazy. Caleb Williams, shout out to him. Their team has been going crazy. Shout out to Coach Sanders out there coaching the 17Us and everything like that. We gonna have some footage out there, you know what I'm saying? So y'all boys stay tuned. But outside of that, NBA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's up with your GOAT? He was going crazy look, 38. I can't say, but
I just let LeBron cook. Let him cook.
He hit two back-to-back threes. They passed him the ball. Old man syndrome. What happened? He had the ball in his hands, just dropped it, gave it to the other team, and then after that it was a run, and then they ended up losing. You know what I'm saying? What's up with Braun, man?
You gotta give the GOAT a pass. He gonna show up when it counts.
He backpacked, but what I was seeing is just like, it's a lot of work that Braun still gotta do at age 40.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just don't think it's gonna be sustainable. You know what I'm saying? The Wolves don't look great on offense. You know what I'm saying? They look like they're running around throwing the ball up. Ant said Julius Randle looked like he hooping jeans. I'm like, this man Ant is crazy. I'm like, that's your teammate, dog. You gotta support him. Don't be saying but nonetheless, you know what I'm saying? Luka had a little stomach bug, as they said. I don't know if he was hungover, drinking too many beers. That's what they said about Jordan's flu game, but Luka didn't play too well. But the supporting cast, I mean, Austin Reeves, he's gonna do what Austin Reeves do.
Yeah.
But the supporting cast, they gotta be better. Like, Rui's got to be better. I feel like Dorian Finney-Smith's got to be better on offense. I feel like a lot of these shooters are not making the shots that they need. But also, if you're dependent on LeBron to go downhill early, you got to know that somebody else has got to carry the load late, because he's going to be tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, y'all down 2-1. What we got to do to make the change, Cam? What we got to do?
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I feel like Bron gonna pull it through.
You think
I always got faith in Bron?
I mean, Shed said, you know, high noon. What he said? He said Timberwolves, Grizzly Wolves, Wolves in sheep's clothing, Lakers in 5. That's what he said. So at the end of the day, that's over with. You know what I'm saying? Stephen A said Lakers ain't winning in 5. And so, as we know, they're not winning in 5 because they down 2-1. So, hopefully they can maybe win in something. Because if it get to 3-1, Bron's done it before, but he did that when he was in his prime in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's doing it again.
I think it's doable.
You think
I think it's doable.
He said, if it's a GOAT, if anybody can do it,
the GOAT can do it.
The GOAT can do it. I feel you, man.
He can do it, bro.
Now, these other series, man, I'm looking at this. Okay, we see there's some injuries going on. You see Ja, he's out for game 4. That was a scary fall, man. And that's why I be saying, like, he got hurt like twice in the playoffs already. He's got to chill out. He's trying to kill too many people at that rim. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's also doing a lot of this.
Yeah, he got to
He's got to calm down.
Calm down.
Yo, side note, they find that man Ant like $50K for saying some wild stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, Ant, you can't be saying that. He got, he's talking about Rudy having 300 million, or I got 300 million, this, that, or the other. He's like, it's my big big. I'm like, hey, you gotta chill. Like, he's in the stands.
Yeah, he was popping it.
Hey, that's what that Lakers crowd do.
Yeah.
That's what that Lake show is gonna do.
But I mean, they trash talk for a living, so it's like,
yeah.
And these fans be saying some crazy stuff.
That's the thing. The fans they don't say that in person. They don't say that. They're not gonna say that in a man-to-man situation. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna say that to their coworkers. They're not gonna say that to their bosses. So why do they feel the need to say that to NBA players?
They comfortable.
I don't know why they so comfortable. They paid to be there. They acting like they can't get that revolt. They acting like they can't get kicked out of the game. They acting like Ant ain't gonna climb over there, Malice in the Palace Part 2.
Yeah, they still human. They still human.
That's what I'm saying. They be thinking that just because they get paid millions of dollars that they won't backhand somebody. Mm-hmm. Hey, Ant said, I'll pay it up front. You see what he said with his baby mama. He said he paid it up front. So, I mean, at the end of the day, if he got to get fined, he probably not even worried about it.
Yeah, he ain't saying.
But back to the Grizzlies OKC series, I'm looking at that and I'm just like, man, it's looking kind of rough. You know what I'm saying? Grizzlies down 3-0. The first game, they got blown out by 50-something. Yeah. Second game, they got blown out by like 30-something. Third game, they blew a 27-point lead. I'm like, that's what happens when you fire your coach before the playoffs. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? The Nuggets, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Clippers, Kawhi. I try to tell them that Kawhi is top 5 any era when healthy. I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me, but he shot 15 for 19, 39 points and was going crazy. Hit a buzzer beater over 3 people. Kawhi, I mean, I'm just saying, look, if you want to listen to somebody about basketball advice, you should probably listen to the hottest podcast in the city that knows about basketball. Because we've been saying this for a long period of time. This man Kawhi is different. The other series that, a lot of people are a little up in arms with is a little controversy with Amin Thompson and Jimmy Butler. They seen him run into Jimmy Butler. What you think about that play?
I don't know, man. Jimmy, but I've been lost being a fan for Jimmy a little bit. I don't know.
Because he's
on and off, bro. Me, he not super consistent.
But what they're saying is, I mean, they was getting blown out while Jimmy was in the game, but they're saying like, oh, Amin Thompson meant to injure Jimmy because he got a little tailbone bruise or whatever. I think Draymond was being a little reckless, trying to push people out the way.
Draymond always reckless.
That's what I'm saying. Draymond, he got to chill out. He getting old. You see the gray hairs every time he step on the court. He's got to chill out. He can't be trying to fight everybody. Mm-hmm. I was looking at a highlight reel of Draymond Green getting physical. It looked like football. I'm like, Draymond, it can't be looking like football, man. Yeah. And I don't know. That might just be his MO. He's just gonna be the guy that hit first. It don't matter how old he is. Yeah. Because you got Dylan Brooks out there. You got a couple other guys out there that are a little scrappy, but the Warriors. It's a split game in the series. We gotta see what's gonna happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then on the other side, Cavs, they got my Heat looking crazy. I mean, it's almost like they shouldn't even been here. You know what I'm saying? They're 10 seed, first 10 seed to make it to the playoffs, but it looked like they a 10 seed. They were smacked up. You know what I'm saying? Donovan Mitchell. You see Darius Garland and Tyler Hero going back and forth talking about, he shouldn't be talking about nobody when you can't guard. Tyler, you can't guard. What are we talking about? It's like the little Spider-Man meme where they pointing at each other. I'm like, you can't guard either. What's going on? But I already said that series is going to be wraps. It's the number 1 seed. They always look like, they was a better team all series.
Yeah.
Magic just got a big one. Magic beat the Celtics. The Celtics look beatable. Solid, yeah. Everybody would talk about the Celtics as unbeatable. Yeah. Unbeatable team. What happened then? And they was at home. So I'm like, I don't know,
They doing the impossible.
They doing the impossible. You know what I'm saying? But the 2-1, that's a series you're going to have to look out for. But I still think the Celtics might win. But, hey, Magic fans told me, they said we're going to get one. And they got one. So I got to put my hat off, credit to them. You know what I'm saying? And Pacers series, it was looking kind of chippy at first. Hallie was talking crazy. You see what Dave said? Hallie said, "Oh, they didn't need you. You must be a bad luck charm." He said, that must be what Steve Kerr told you when you was on the Olympic team because they didn't get no bird. I was like, yo, these youngers got to watch out talking to these OGs because these OGs will really slap somebody. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta chill. And they got the win last night. So I mean, look, that's 2-1. It's a lot of competition. And I like that Pistons Knicks series. It's real gritty. You see, they about to fade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They getting into it. That's that NYC gritty. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, playoffs is going crazy. Y'all got to tap in. Y'all got to make sure that y'all locked in. Like I said, keep that Dime P Easy TV if you tired of paying $300,000 a month on cable. Get to the Dime P
Save your
Easy
bread.
TV. The last thing we're going to talk about before we bring on our special guest, and I'm super upset about it. You're probably upset about it. The entire black community is probably upset about it. Sheduer Sanders, mind you, I'll give you this is prime time, son. This is prime time. You know what I'm saying? This is prime time. Like, this is his son. Played really well in college. Went to Colorado. Played well. He's projected number 9 in the draft. Number 9 comes around. They don't pick him.
Yeah.
All right, so 13. Okay. Dolphins got a chance to pick him. They don't pick him. Okay. Browns got a chance to pick him at 5. We knew he wasn't going to get picked at 5. It's okay, cool. Giants draft. They trade up to get Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss. Which, look, we can potato. Okay, Cam, we knew he was going first. Jackson Dart, we might not like it. It is what it is. Then we go to, the next round. Okay, Sheduer, he's got to be the first pick, the first available quarterback. When a team needs a quarterback, you got to pick him up. The Browns pass on him again. Okay, they still need a quarterback, whatever.
I don't know how the Steelers passed.
That's what I'm saying. They could say
crazy.
they could have been the blackest team in America.
Yeah.
They could have had DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Mike Tomlin at the coach, Sheduer at the.
I think even Sheduer thought that too, though, because he was like kind of throw little hints and stuff before that.
That's what I'm thinking. But I'm like, okay, I mean, cool. But then we get to the second round, and the Saints do the impossible. They draft a injury prone. He's been injured 3 times. Went to Louisville.
Facts.
He's 25.
25, yeah.
He older than me. Cuz. And they pick him up over Sheduer.
That's crazy.
As soon as that happened, I looked at myself and I said, self, it can't be the talent.
It's not.
It can't be the film. Because I'm looking at this guy from Louisville. And I'm looking at him in the combine. And some of these passes, they not even getting to the wide receiver. So they pick him up. Okay, we already know there's some collusion going on, right? But then Jalen Milroe?
Yeah. Bro, it's crazy.
I'm not even going to talk about Gabriel. I'm not even going to talk about him because he is horrible.
Yeah.
But Jalen Milroe is a running back, and the Seahawks said, you know what? Let's get him at a backup. Now, I understand some teams are like, okay, Sheduer is too good for him to be. Like, he's going to be probably the most expensive backup that we're going to get.
Yeah.
So some teams probably don't want to get him and things like that. But you're taking quarterbacks that have no trade.
It don't make sense, bro.
No trade value. Now that's the second round. Right? We go to the third round. And he's still not picked up.
Bro, the whole day I'm like, dang, when Sheduer get picked?
That's
Sheduer
what I'm
got
saying.
picked,
My phone buzzing, and it's about Sheduer not getting picked up. I'm like, look
that's
at
all that, hey, bro, and that's
breaking
all the
news.
headlines.
Sheduer's skipped over round 2.
Skipped over third round.
Skipped over round 3. I'm like, so you're telling me, I'm just saying this, right? LeVar Ball came in with saying that his son was better than Michael Jordan.
That was crazy.
And his son still gets picked number 2, right?
Still.
Caleb Williams comes in and says, I'm not going to play for certain types of teams, this, that, or the other, whatever the case is. He still gets drafted number 1. Sheduer hadn't even said anything about nobody. He didn't say nothing about nobody. He didn't say a single word. Now, it may be the interviews, they might not have liked it, but my thing is like, okay, if certain teams aren't going to pick him up and he's not doing well in an interview with teams that aren't going to pick him up, they're not going to pick him up in the first place.
Yeah.
But the teams that had the opportunity to pick him up and needed quarterbacks, why are you trying to be you're not bigger than the program team?
Yeah.
Like, if the call came down from Roger Goodell saying don't pick him up, okay, I get it. If your owner said don't pick him up, your owner is being crazy. Your owner don't know nothing about football. You can see it with Jerry. Jerry Jones don't know nothing about football, and their program has been terrible since 1945. Like, I mean, since you had what's his name, Troy Aikman out there.
Yeah.
They've been bad for a while. So the owners can't be influencing whether or not you pick because they're not playing.
Yeah.
These are a bunch of people that aren't playing. And I just want to say one thing. This is a young black man that has done nothing wrong. Clean character, always been somebody that's been a stand-up person, very humble. This entire time has been saying this is within God's plan. He's been elevating, talking about God and elevating his peers, elevating his teammates, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just don't get why you wouldn't pick him up. Like,
it's not cool, bro. And I feel like they really trying to make they're trying to make an example.
I don't know why you make an
what?
example.
I don't know, but
I just don't get why you make an example out of a young black man that has a father that gave the league so much.
Yeah.
Like, Prime gave the league views during a time that the league needed views.
It's facts.
I get it that if he would have he went to baseball and did this and did that and talked here and talked there saying that, my son is this. But again, I'll give you another example. LeBron James said that his son was better than a lot of players in the league before he even got drafted. And he still got drafted.
College was horrible.
We are currently on this show right now. Hopefully when the show airs, he's already drafted. Yeah. But currently on the show right now, it is Saturday, April 26th. He is not drafted yet. He's not on anybody's roster.
It's crazy.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Gabriel.
Tyler Shaw.
Hey, who is that? I'm getting fuming. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? We need to take a break. I'm tired of this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is free Sheduer, justice for Sheduer, perfect timing. God's timing is perfect.
It's perfect.
We gonna bring on our guest and we gonna get back to the work. We're back. And I had to take the shades off because one of the brightest stars, one of the biggest upcoming fashion designers in the Tampa Bay area. I mean, we should say worldwide, really. Really, we should say worldwide. My sister, Sherida Jones, is in the building. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. So, you are the owner of Sheri Amor Couture. You are a college graduate through the Art Institute of Tampa. Give us a little bit more background about, how you got into fashion, what made you believe this is your calling and, where you're at today.
Man, I did not choose fashion. Fashion chose me.
Oh, amen.
I've always loved fashion, but I went to school for animation.
Okay.
I had the chance to probably go for fashion, but I didn't want to sew. And I kind of ran from sewing for a long time. And now here I am sewing clothes.
Okay. And you went to, what high school did you go to?
I went to Brandon High School.
Okay, Brandon alum. Kiki, who was on here one of the other episodes, she also went to Brandon.
Cool.
We got a couple Brandon alums. Messiah's a Brandon alum. I'm a Brandon alum. Brandon in the building,
wow,
what I'm saying?
That's
here,
crazy.
Trying to hold it down.
We are in Brandon though.
So when you were, we are in Brandon, but when you were in high school, transitioning to college, what made you take that jump to go to art school instead of going to your, traditional 4-year university and thing like that?
That's a good question. I wanted to go to the best school and it just kind of be art centered because I like drawing and I really liked fashion illustration.
Right.
But yeah, I just was like, oh, this has to be a good school.
Okay. Yeah. So when you were there, what do you think your challenges were as a early upcoming? Because I know you got your degree in graphic design and everything like that, but animation. But what were your struggles trying to find your niche in animation and just in the art industry because it's very unique? I see a lot of art and I don't understand it, but there's certain things that people have that make them stand out, like a Picasso or like a Van Gogh and things like that. So what made you focus and hone in on your niche?
Well, I didn't really break into animation. It was more along the lines of graphic design because I guess kind of here in Florida, it's not really that many jobs or opportunities for people who are in the arts. So kind of graphic design was the only route I could really go to kind of make money or whatever.
Okay. So once you got your degree, what was the next steps? Because I know you got your degree in animation, and then you graduate, and everybody knows once you graduate, you don't just immediately start getting jobs and things like
not
that.
at
So,
all.
what was the next step after you graduated? And trying to look for careers and things like that, because I know you didn't straight go right into fashion design and
Right,
things like
right. No, it took like 6 months for me to find a job. Like, it was really hard. But I had someone in career services was kind of trying to like help me find jobs, and that's how I got with HIT. I was a rush artist there, and then
that. So what's a rush artist?
basically I was just slapping logos onto promotional products, like 24-hour turnaround type deal.
Okay.
And then I went to apparel art, so I started doing like art on t-shirts and stuff like that.
Okay. How was that?
It was a job.
So Cam here, he has his own brand and business and things like that. And you're talking about, being a rush artist, and then at some point you had to make that transition to go and start your own business and things like that. What do you think is one of the biggest things, especially for aspiring fashion designers or clothing owners and things like that? What do you think the biggest thing that they should focus on when they're trying to make that jump from just a regular corporate job or the industry to owning their own business?
I would tell you, do not quit your full-time job. Do not do that. That's kind of like where I kind of made the mistake. I got into my own brand while I was teaching art. I was an art teacher. During the pandemic, it was like really hard. And they had me teaching at 2 schools for like the same pay, because teachers was dropping out left and right. So I quit teaching. That was hard.
Right.
But like trying to start my brand after quitting was very difficult. So I would say, don't quit your full-time job. Use that money to fuel your brand, to, buy whatever necessary things, collab, inventory, all the things. Yeah.
Right. So another thing that was interesting that you said is that you were a teacher. Which schools did you teach at?
I taught at Thompson Elementary. It's in like Ruskin.
Okay.
Nobody would know.
Okay.
What?
Okay,
Wow.
Q. Okay.
Just kidding.
You might have taught her.
People out there.
Right. But what was I gonna say? As a teacher, I know you, because we all, we work with kids and we're coaching and things like that. I know you can see certain kids might have like certain talents and things like that. Like, what really stands out as somebody that might be a gifted artist, especially at a young age, compared to somebody that's just in the art class throwing paint on the walls and things like that?
Their product, honestly, like.
So they'll just be young and just be Van Goghing it up.
Yeah. Well, you have to pull it out of them though. So with different activities, different like art lessons, you see the things that they create. Okay, these over here, they got it. These over here, they don't.
They struggle a little bit.
They don't.
That's what I'm saying. I would be in the group over there. I've been stick figures, and I can't even make a perfect circle or anything like that. The shading is a little rough. Don't ask Coach Mike to do nothing. Look, when it comes to the digital stuff, I can put together a nice product. When it comes to on paper, never been me. I promise you, it's never been me.
That's funny.
But another thing, because we were talking about when Kiki was on, she's a mental health specialist and things like that. And this month, when it airs, it'll be Mental Health Awareness Month. So tell me a little bit about how, because you've worked with kids, and I'm pretty sure that you probably could see that there is a little bit of struggles with some of the kids and things like that. How do you think art can play a role into the mental health side, maybe giving you a couple coping mechanisms, or give you a place to decompress and get your mind right and things like that? How do you think art plays that role in the mental health sense?
You kind of said it. Set it off
from your
open.
from your perspective, because I know you've seen it differently with kids and things like that.
Yeah. So it's definitely a release. It definitely helps them to channel that creativity and really just let their walls down and create. I definitely feel like art is a great way to express yourself. It helps you to express, what you're feeling.
Right.
Helps you to express, like, sometimes even what's going on, like, at home. And just cultural, like, everybody's got something different, like a different background, a different take.
Right.
So
For sure. And I definitely will see, like, a lot of times in the horror movies where they'll draw, like, different things. And it'll show, like, there's definitely something going on at home. There's definitely. Have you ever read into those types of things where you're like, you'll see a kid draw something, you'll be like, I don't know if that is appropriate.
Oh, yeah. But also, especially, like, boys that just, had some boys
interesting
draw some
interesting drawings.
Yeah,
Hey, boys, watch out.
Titties on the table.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Now, I want to go into your fashion beginning, because you started your business. And at first, because I've seen your designs transform from a lot of different eras and things like that. You've had a lot of different, starts. What do you think is Sheri Amor Couture? Like, what would you say is the highlight or the foundation of, like, your business and your fashion?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm still evolving and trying to figure out, like, what do I like to do?
Right.
What is, like, my staple and what kind of, like, makes me stand out amongst other brands, other designers. I really like retro nostalgia. That's kind of like my thing, but I don't know if I, like, will always stick with that.
Right.
So just trying to figure out, like, how do I bring that retro nostalgia to modern kind of, like, takes on fashion.
Right. That's awesome. So you've worked with a plethora of people, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you've worked with, I know you were at the Tampa Bay Fashion Face-Off, and Todd Bowles was there. You had some Bucks players that were there and things like that. I know fashion for a long time in sports have been kind of intertwined. You've seen a lot of people that, especially express themselves now. You got the Russell Westbrooks, you got the Kyle Kuzmas, you got the SGAs, exactly. You got all the different people. They coined this term. The new kids call it aura. You know what I'm saying? It's aura. How have you seen fashion, especially when it comes to, like, the professional sense? How have you seen fashion kind of transform into, I guess, the modern day fashion now, where you have athletes walking out almost wearing dresses and skirts and things like that, with shirts out and things like that? But back in the day, it was like you had the big tailored suits and things like that.
Yeah.
So how do you think the fashion now is influencing fashion in sports? I know it's a tough question.
I don't know how politically correct I can say.
Oh, no, you can go crazy. I mean, we're the Gritty and Wylie show. We were talking about Trump getting shot in the ear mid-election. So, yeah.
I feel like in order to blow up as a Black athlete, you have to put on a dress.
Okay.
That's honestly how I feel. Like, they're not gonna put you in the forefront unless you are willing to
wear the dresses or wear the more outside
the
norm types of things.
And I don't like that, but hey, if you willing to
get out there,
sign your soul, I don't know, do whatever. Like, you'll take off putting the skirts on and the dresses on. I don't like that for our. I don't like that for our men, for our people. But
right. No, I agree, because I mean, you would see certain types of things where people would be praising the outfit because of the brand, or it was Prada, or it was Gucci, or it was Saint Laurent, or whatever the case may be. But they were never really giving a nod to the person who put it on, because it was almost like a mockery to them. But the brands would put that person out there and be like, look at our brand. And they were never really uplifting the athlete or giving them any type of real autonomy when it came to the fashion sense.
Yeah,
so that's a really good point. Now, let me ask you this question. If you had the opportunity to work, let's say as like a designer, or maybe even like a stylist for any maybe organization, maybe athlete, or whatever the case may be, what would be your number one organization to work for if you could be like a stylist, designer, or whatever the case may be?
What brand would I work for?
Brand, it could be an athlete, it could be a team, it could be an organization, it could be anything, really.
Organization. Well, right now all I can think of is like what brand. Like my favorite designer is Schiaparelli.
Okay.
That's literally like my favorite. And if I could choose to style a celebrity, it would be Erykah Badu.
Okay.
I just love her style. She's just so fresh.
Yeah, no, she put it on for sure. Erykah Badu would be definitely somebody that I could see you definitely styling, especially with your talents and things like that. Cam, you are a fashion, I guess I'd say, connoisseur in a way. You put it on, as they say.
Yeah.
You have any questions?
Nah, my biggest thing, I was just picking your brain as you was just thinking about different things that you was speaking. But it's like, I feel like, well, the first question I have, how long have you been been working on your brand or building it up?
Since 2022.
2022?
Yeah, not that long.
Okay. 3 years. And what's your main pieces like you like to work on? Which one of your favorite?
What I got on,
you can stand up. You can do a little, show me, yeah.
Yeah, I like those. Yeah.
Pants. And then like this top I made, it's got like exaggerated like lapels to it. So just trying to experiment. So I went to Goodwill and I got like a ton of jeans and I just kind of cut them up and been like sewing stuff. So like, this is the bottom of like 3 or 4 pairs of jeans right here. So
it's unique.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like, okay, what do I like? What is gonna be like a staple? What's something I want to keep? Okay, maybe I don't like doing that anymore. So I feel like I'm in my experimental phase. I don't know.
Okay. That's a skill though. That's a big skill to be able to sew your own. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I remember you were saying you didn't even want to sew. So now that you sew, what would you say is probably your biggest pet peeve with sewing? Because I know there's some people that are out there, like some of the people that we train have their own brand. Shout out Young and Rich, Spice, Lib, y'all boys going crazy. But what would you say is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to sewing? She said all of it.
I actually enjoy sewing now. Believe it or not, I feel like God has brought me to a place where it's like, no, keep trying. No, keep at it. Like he's literally kind of shut a lot of doors that have all just led me to sewing. When I say like sewing chose me, like literally I had got to a place where I was just like, someone asked me to do a fashion show and she was like, I really want you to sew though. I was like, but I like paint. Like I also have like a manufacturer like that I work with. Like I do all these. No, I want you to sew. I was like, okay. So then I had a sister-in-law. She was like, I have this sewing machine like and all this fabric. I could just give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. And I was like, okay. And like literally situations like that just kept happening where like somebody else gave me a sewing machine. Like, my husband, his grandmother died, and she had a room full of sewing patterns and a room full of fabric that like, she was like, yeah, you could just go over there and just grab everything in that room. I was just like, this is crazy. Like, I don't want to sew. But like, as I kept at it, I got better. Right. And like, people was like really liking my stuff and really wanted to work with me. So I'm just like, maybe there's something to this. Like, maybe I have to like really give it a chance, because it seems like God is really pushing me in this direction.
Right. No, for sure. And that's the crazy thing about it, is like, you said it best, is that you didn't like it at first, but you worked on it and you got better. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we try to teach these kids, is that you got to stay with the work and the consistency, because you'll see some version of your product be, you know, put out there, and people will gravitate towards something that you might not have even wanted to do. And you're in a position now where that can bring you so many different clients, but it can empower so many people that have been like, man, I hate sewing, or man, I hate doing textile, or I hate doing these different types of things. But now they see, okay, it's not just the fact that I don't like it, but maybe let me try to put it in my repertoire, because somebody might want to sign me to do this or do that, or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, I think she's pretty much saying, just stick with it. If it's something that you don't like, you gotta stick with it at the end of the day.
Really just follow what God is telling you to do. Be obedient the first time, like, and really, like, for me, I really had to trust, like, okay, God, if I stick with this, like, I'm gonna need you to, like, bring the resources, bring, you know, help me. And he hasn't left me. Like, he's literally has helped me like he said he would. So, like, really, I would just say, follow God, like, be obedient, you know. Don't try to take the long way or the easy route, because it's just not worth it.
Amen. Well, it was great having you here. We appreciate you. Give them your socials, all your. I mean, you just had a fashion show.
Oh yeah.
Where was that at?
So I had one. It was in St. Pete, and then another one in Clearwater.
Okay.
Follow me at Sheri Amor Couture.
Well, we'll put it up there, because y'all just be having the craziest handles. Like, you had She Audacious. Now, Q, you got some work to do. I'm going to tell you that. You got some work to do. Yeah, you got some research to do. You have any shows coming up in the future?
Probably in October, but it's in the works.
Okay. Well, we'll put your stuff out there. We'll make sure that we get you put out there and everything like that. Everybody cop her stuff, by the way. Yeah. Go to her shop. It's the same handle, and then it's .com, correct?
Yeah. I want to do a men's collection next. So
models.
Yeah, definitely.
You're a model. Cam.
Male.
Yeah. We got you locked in, Cam.
As long as it ain't no dresses.
Hey.
Absolutely not.
We're going to make sure you're not in a dress. But at the end of the day, like we said, we appreciate you for having you on. We'll be right back with the word. It's the work. Hey, man, we're back with the work. And before we get into the word, we got to talk about our troll of the week. We're back with it. Troll of the week, Shannon Unk Sharp.
The legend
himself. Freaky fan. Goodness gracious. Whew. So let's get into it. He's being accused of some crazy things. He's being accused of a word that we don't want to say on YouTube because we don't want to get demonetized. But you guys can pretty much put the pieces together. You guys can look into it. 20-year-old Gabrielle Zaninga back in 2023, right? Now let's get into it though, because Unk is a freak. You know, we already seen the fact that he got, leaked on Instagram Live with Michelle. Yeah. Talking about, come on.
That was crazy.
He was putting the work in. That's what they said. They said he was putting in a 2-time shift at Denny's. He was out there putting the buns on the grill. That's what they said he was doing. But allegedly, they said that he had some situations going on with this young woman. Now, Shannon contested by leaking these texts, saying some crazy things. I know you missed this big juicy, $25K for each cheek. This is what she said.
That was crazy.
She also said, I want you, that's my daddy. I want you to put a big black baby in me. Now, this is the thing. I'm not on any side. Look, I'm on the side of the truth. And she was 19 at the time, by the way. So, Unc like him young. You know what I'm saying? He's still striking him young. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not on it. I'm on the side of truth, by the way. It just doesn't sound like an unconsensual situation when you're, talking about give me that, or only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want, or then you can do whatever you want to me.
Baby gravy is crazy.
I'm in the, look, Lord, look, I promise you. Shannon said it before. Send me. No, I'm joking. She's 19. She's going crazy. But she then contests with sending some audio footage of Shannon Sharp talking about this situation, claiming that, and I quote, there will be black man chokes small white woman in public.
That was crazy.
He said, you don't want this to be something that happens, dude. He said, it could really happen, right? So then Shannon steps away from ESPN, right? Still doing Nightcap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talking with Chad Ochocinco. Active. Saying that he is 100% not guilty. It was 100% consensual. All of these different types of things. Then he said he's willing to put down $10 million.
Yeah, $10 million. That was like the little hush money.
Yeah, to put it away, right? And people are saying that's like an admission of guilt. However, excuse me, I think that Shannon just is on TV way too much, and he's just trying to put it away. He's like, all right, let's finish it. However, if you are a freaky frog, Shannon Sharp, I want to say this and say, leave them little girls alone.
Right.
And talk to some girls. Go talk to Michelle, because obviously that seemed to be consensual on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
We was all there. We wasn't seeing it. We heard the audio.
Yeah.
We heard the audio.
That's crazy.
But I just want to say, Shannon, leave them girls alone. You said you want to Miss B Nasty, so go get you a Miss B Nasty.
Yeah.
She's your age.
She grown.
You know what I'm saying? Stop talking to somebody that was a big black baby in them.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
at 19.
At 19. Want the baby gravy at 19. 25K. Yeah, she want to check. Now, what we do know is she is a bag chaser.
Yeah.
She is a on-trap-aneur, as we say.
She do.
She's trying to trap mans into getting her that 10 mil. Now, I mean, she got herself a business going on, you know what I'm saying? She's a decent looking young.
She could have settled for the 10.
She could have settled.
She want 50?
She said, let's keep going. Raise the price. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you be in the casino, you might hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
What do you do when you hit that jackpot? Do you leave the casino or you stay and play?
You leave.
He said, I'm leaving. She's trying to stay and play.
Yeah.
So they go into court with it. Hopefully Unc is seen as non-guilty, because we don't like any situations that are unconsensual. That is 100% deplorable if he did that. And Unc should be canceled if that's the case. However, hoping that he's not. This is the wildest story I've heard. This is one of the wildest stories to hear about somebody that is wilder than, I don't know, the Joy Taylor situation might have been crazier. You heard about the Joy Taylor? So Joy Taylor, we'll bring it up real quick. Joy Taylor, she's a talk host on Speak, who was on a couple other shows on ESPN and things like that. Basically,
oh yeah, she was messing around.
She sleeped her way to the top.
Yeah.
She got with Acho. She slept with Shannon. She slept with the boss.
Yeah.
She slept with the janitor. She slept with the guy that kept the room keys. She slept with the guy that was bringing in the mail. I'm trying to tell you, she was sleeping with anybody. If it was walking and it had a dangling, she was sleeping with it. That was what happened. So this is crazier than that. This is crazier than Skip Bayless situation, where he was talking to the lady talking about, I could change your life. If you sleep with me, I can give you the... Shannon just said, I'm going to put it down. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put it down. You going to I'm going to put it down. You go, if you put it down, if you put it on, if you put it, maybe we can put it on. That's what he said. That's what Shannon said. So at the end of the day, before we get into the word, man, we get serious. Shannon, You need help.
Too freaky.
We need to make sure we get you into church. I don't know if you've been there since grandma was taking you to church, but we need to get you into church.
You feel me, grandma?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Make it sound like
That's what I'm saying. He said he grew up in
righteous guy.
And rural, what was it, South Carolina? Something, Georgia. That's what it is, rural Georgia. You know, that's the Bible Belt. Where the Bible at?
Yeah, where is it?
You know what I'm saying? He got something else under his belt. You know what I'm saying? He got to worry about something else.
Yeah.
But again, we gonna get serious a little bit. But last week was Easter, and it really came to me when I was watching the Easter service and things like that. And the betrayal. You know what I'm saying? The betrayal that happened when Judas sold Jesus out to the Roman guards. The betrayal has always been like kind of skipped over because we gotten so desensitized to betrayal and gotten so desensitized to people turning their back on people and to not having integrity. When Jesus was crucified, there were no believers that day. I mean, Mary Magdalene and then a couple other people, there were no believers, right? It wasn't a story of Jesus dying on a cross and he told everybody and they were like, yeah, we believe you, Jesus. We're going to ride with you. And then you had all the followers. No, nobody believed in him until the stone was rolled away. When the stone was rolled away, the first thing that happened was people were in disbelief. They were in shock. Not only because the people that first seen it were women, and back in those times, people didn't really believe what women had to say. They weren't really valuable back in those times. But the other thing was, it was impossible for that situation to happen because people don't come back from the dead.
Yeah.
And that stone that was in front of the tomb was extremely heavy. It had to take a couple guards to move it. So why would Roman guards move the stone away to make it seem like something that they did that, one, mind you, Pontius Pilate didn't even want to do? He was like, y'all do it. This ain't going to be on my hands. If y'all want Barabbas, y'all take Barabbas and y'all crucify Jesus. I'm not going to do it. So why would they go and turn away from that? And it all goes back to the thing that is really, really crucial and that everybody has to understand. God's plan is always going to be something that will be enacted regardless of what other people want. There are going to be people that betray you. There's going to be people that turn their back on you. There's going to be people that sit there, and what you have to do not only is trust in God's plan, but when you know you have God's plan, you got to speak on it. You got to be one that walks in that authority, because at the end of the day, Jesus, every day, even when he was a kid, he was in the temple. He was saying that he was the Son of God. Mm-hmm. He was telling his siblings, he was telling his mom that he was the Son of God. That's crazy. I don't know what you would have to tell me if I had a sibling that you were the Son of God. I don't know what you would have to do, but realistically, you would have to die and come back from the dead. And that's what he did. And so when those times are happening, right, when you're in the midst of knowing that your purpose is there, you have to stay and walk in that type of authority, because if you don't, you're not believing in what God had already written, because it's already been written. The story's already been finished. You know what I'm saying? He defeated death. He defeated the grave. He defeated sin. So the story's already written. Now you just have to walk in what God has called you to walk in. But it's going to be hard, because you're going to have the people that betray you. You're going to have your doubters. It might be a time where nobody believes in you. But when it's your time, when it's time for you to raise up and step into that, it's going to be a lot of people that want to believe you. They want to, support you and things like that. But one thing Jesus said when he was on that cross was, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. There's a lot of people that aren't going to know the type of work that you put in, the 10,000 hours. You know what I'm saying? It says, pray when you're alone. Don't boast in public. Don't be this person that's proud and saying, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and all these other different types of things. You see the videos of people giving out the hamburgers to the homeless and putting it on YouTube and getting millions of views. People check that authenticity because they say, if you really wanted to do it, you wouldn't have put it on camera. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know what you're doing behind closed doors. But if it's praising God, and if it's worshiping God, and if it's, making sure that you're being a good steward of the things that he gave you and being a disciple, if that's what you're doing, a lot of people aren't going to know. So you got to forgive them. If they jump on the train late, it's still support. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make sure that you are focusing on what God has called you to do, and not worrying about, repaying evil with evil, but repaying evil with good. Because at the end of the day, he forgave the thief on the cross. He could have just been focused on how agonizing the pain he had while he was on the cross, but he forgave them and forgave everybody. So if he can forgive us for the sins that we do every single day, we can forgive those people who might have counted us out or who might have sat there and said that, you're not going to amount to anything because, again, they didn't know what was going to happen. They know not what they do. And that's the thing. Once they know, then you can hold them to a standard of saying, hey, I've already done it. You've already seen me put in the work. You've seen what I've gotten to, and you've seen the recognition and accolades that God has called me to become and step into. So if you don't want to be on my side, I'm still going to love you. I'm still going to bless you, but we'll do it in separate spaces. I'll be in my lane and you'll be in yours. But if these are people that want to support you, don't be spiteful of people wanting to support you late, because support comes late a lot of the times. The support came late for us. You know what I'm saying? When we started the show, we told people that we were going to have a show. When we first dropped, it was cute. Oh, nice. You guys got the show. Cool. But watch it every single week. We on episode 35 now. You know what I'm saying? It might not be too many people watching, but what people are doing now is they're watching the old episodes. They're watching the old stuff. We got the playlist out. We're on Thegrittyandwylieshow playlist, season 1. We got season 2 and we got season 3. So we're on episode 35. Well, this is episode 36, but people are going to support late. Don't be spiteful of the people that support late. Bring them in, try to, teach them the ways that how you got to where you are. And try to, actually bring them into a light that's beneficial instead of hating on them because they hated on you. Because hate for hate will never be something that's going to bring something positive. You always want to repay hate with good so that these people can have a change of heart. And then when they become supporters of you, remember, the supporters of you are an extension of you. And that's what happens a lot of time. You'll see, for example, Playboi Carti fans. Nobody wants to go to a Playboi Carti concert and go in the mosh pit because the fans are going to punch them in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the people that are your supporters are an extension of you. So you have to make sure you're engaging in a positive light. And that's why we give the word. That's why we try to tell y'all, hey, look, you got to keep God first. You got to walk in the light. And you got to make sure that you're being someone that is positive and beneficial, because if you're not being that, you know what I'm saying, it's not going to be something that looks good in your life. But we also want to make sure that you are doing those things every single day. We want to be a pillar of light towards people that don't have a pillar of light. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, make sure that when people aren't believing in you, when it comes time for them to believe in you, that you know that it's going to happen because they didn't know, they weren't trusting you when the process was happening, but you are trusting the process. Make sure you're trusting the process and make sure that you're not, hating on people when they start trying to support you. They're going to jump on late. It's going to happen. And just, when they do that, just be like, come along, you know what I'm saying? But you got to get in a line, because the line for the Gritty and Wylie show is getting stacked up. We got a lot of hard-hitting guests. We got a lot of people coming on here. Y'all been seeing the clips. We've been going crazy. Like we said, from day one, hottest podcast in the city. From day one. Now y'all seeing it. But we knew y'all wasn't going to see it at first. We knew it was going to happen. But we here now. And like we said, this been a year. So clap it up. A year to work, man. It's been a long year. It's been a lot of ups, downs. Q having to travel to the academy, having to travel to the farm. We having to go to Q set. We having to go all the way out here. We doing all of these different types of things. We gonna still keep working. We gonna keep bringing on great guests.
Can't stop.
We gonna keep doing the things that we doing and everything like that. But like I said, shout out, number one, shout out to God, shout out the family, shout out Coach B out there in Memphis doing his thing. Shout out his family. Shout out, the guy. Shout out Cam. You know what I'm saying? For coming on and being a consistent person. We want to give our appreciation to Cam coming in. Giving his insight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Q. Shout out Don P. You know what I'm saying? For holding us down and everything like that. Shout out Team Gritty. Shout out Wylie Athletics. Shout out every single person that tunes in. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. It's Gritty who's not here. We got Cam in the building. Shout out Preacher Pat. You know what I'm saying? Shout out everybody. Shout out the fam. It's Gritty, Wylie. We out.